Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Media Mall podcast. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome Sean Shea from Clever Dog IT Systems. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. Nice to
Good
see
to see
you.
you.
Yeah. So maybe start off by telling me a bit more about yourself and the business.
Sure. I guess I've been in business in some form or another most of my life. I actually owned a sporting goods store and spent about 16 years in that industry. And now I've been about 25 in the IT industry.
Wow.
So lots of experience with both business and IT.
Lots of stuff has changed, over the past 25 years.
It's changed a lot. Yeah. I mean, as you know now, a lot of things are moving to the cloud. It's much easier to access your data. There's security concerns have become much greater now.
Yes, seriously. What was your first computer?
First computer. Wow, that was an Atari 800 XL.
What year would that have been?
That has to be back sometime in the very early 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
My first computer was a 486.
Ah, okay.
So Pentium 1.
Yeah, this was a little. Yeah, that was before that. Mine was before
Intel.
Before that even. Yeah.
We used to play Doom. It's a popular game. So in the IT services, you must come across a lot of businesses. What's a common mistake that most people do in regards to their IT?
I think the big thing that I see a lot of companies doing is how they work with their IT company. I think it's really important that you work with them as a partner and not as a separate entity. IT can be a big part of your business and play a really important role in its success.
Yes. Tell me a bit more about your services. So you meet up with a new startup. They've got 10 employees. They're all working in the office. So what type of services would they need on the IT front?
So we provide a full managed IT service, which means we're doing monitoring behind the scenes of basically all of the systems. So it's proactive rather than reactive. And the whole idea is to keep the business working successfully and keep all systems up at all times.
So let's troubleshoot a bit. Like, what could go wrong? Like the server goes down. I know nothing about this stuff, so it's good that you're here.
Standard things. I mean, people like email is very important today. So you have sometimes things go wrong with email. Those are very standard calls for us. Sometimes you can have a server go down, and that tends to be a little more major issue. Internet outages, that kind of thing, just basic network outages, printing problems. We deal with a really wide variety of issues, and generally we're looking after, with all of our clients, their whole IT infrastructure. So it could also today mean phones. A lot of phone systems operate over the internet.
Wow. So you deal with that stuff also?
We deal with that as well.
Okay. Is BlackBerry still around? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, we don't see many Blackberries anymore. I mean, most of the phones we see now are Android based or Apple phones. So we don't see a lot of Blackberries, but they are still around, and they use Android.
And is that company still around? RIM, or is it?
Yeah. So they're still around, just not the biggest part of the market. They were really the greatest part of the market some time ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, it was interesting to see them go. Tell me about something that a company or a business could do to improve their IT today.
I think one of the big things is the company should have some insight into what is going on with IT. And I think a lot of times it might be difficult to speak with their IT person, but when we're working with someone, we really want to talk to them at whatever their level is so they understand what they're doing. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is their backup system, and really a backup isn't even enough anymore.
Ooh.
You really need a business continuity system so that you're going to be up at all times.
Yes.
A backup, if you have a server failure, for instance, and you bring your backup out, you need to have something to put it on. So our business continuity system would allow you to continue operations even though a server has failed, for instance.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I've lost the data. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun at all.
So tell me about this backup system. Is it mostly cloud-based or is it on-site?
No, it's a little both. So the system that we use is both on site, so it's backing up, and the great thing is it's not just backing up once a day; it's backing up every 1 to 2 hours. So the great thing about that is you're never more than a couple hours behind with your data, so you don't lose a whole day's work. Used to be very common. You would back up overnight, and
Yeah.
if you had to go to a backup, you would be going back an entire day.
Oh,
But we're backing up every 1 to 2 hours, and then we have the backup both on site. And so if a server went down, we would be able to virtualize and bring it up from 1 to 2 hours ago. And we also keep a copy offsite as well that's cloud based.
that's cool.
So even if you lost a whole office, we would still, in most cases, be able to get you back up and running same day.
Wow. So everything's stored on-site and off-site.
It's both, yeah. So you have it in multiple locations, and that's important so that if you lose a location, you're still able to function.
Could like CRA lose like all my information? Is that possible?
I don't want to comment.
Okay, we're not gonna go there. Maybe a bit off topic here. Where do you see IT services going in the next 5 to 10 years? What's interesting that's coming down the?
I think the big thing that's changed with the advent of the cloud, people's data is much easier to access,
Okay.
not only from multiple locations but from multiple devices. So the big thing that's happening there, like our phones, which used to be just for communication,
Yeah.
now you can actually use that as a device to work on your data. To give example, my accounting system is available on my phone, so
There you
I
go.
can at a moment's notice bring up an invoice or anything like that. And I think that's really changed how we work. Data is so important now, and it's always at our fingertips.
Gotcha. I've noticed that phones tried to push us, and maybe this is just my perception. They tried to push us towards the cloud storage, like the iPhone, where their data, their size went down and down, but now it's coming back up because I like storing some stuff on the cloud, but when it comes to like my music, I want it on my phone.
Right.
Because if you're out for a jog, you don't want to be connected to the internet. You just want to listen to your
Yeah.
stuff. So
And a lot of systems store it in both. Like they'll
Yeah.
sync it back and forth, which is really nice because the data is available whether you have that connection
Yeah.
or not. And
So
and
the
then-
solution is somewhere in the middle.
yeah, like a lot of systems now sync that back and forth. So it's in the cloud, so it's backed up somewhere else besides your phone, but it's readily accessible as
Yeah,
well.
that's cool. So we work in this great place called Media Mall. Tell me about your favorite things about working here.
I think the big thing for me when we decided to locate our office here is that there's collaboration amongst everyone here, and that's kind of a key thing with me. I otherwise would have been in an office somewhere and just by ourselves with our own
Yes.
company. The great thing about Media Mall is that we get to meet other business owners like yourself and get to talk to them about some of the same problems that we may face, and it helps with our own internal solutions. But the other thing is it's great for clients because they can get all of their needs taken care of in one location with people that have already worked together. So
Yeah.
we're all comfortable with working with each other. We know what we're capable of.
Seriously, I can comment on that because I've went to you guys for information a few times,
Right.
and some of this equipment in this studio is from you guys, and I'm really not tech savvy, so it's so useful to have IT services in the office. So that's great.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, the facilities here are great with
Yeah.
the boardrooms, et cetera. So it's a really good fit.
Good, right on. Well, thank you for coming on. Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen to the Media Mall podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Ciao.